After removing the former president Pedro Castillo in a coup, the nation's Congress has now sold off the country to the United States. Peru has been engulfed in protests since the unfair removal of Castillo. 60 people have died, but Peru's government would rather have blood flowing in the streets than let their pockets run dry. Now the crisis in Peru is set to get even worse as US plans to invade. Hi and welcome to TFIGlobal Latin America, TFIGlobal's channel dedicated to the America in the Americas. I am your host Michael. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe and press the bell icon to get all the latest updates. If you're watching us on Facebook, do like, share and follow the page. Let's begin. The past 2 months have wreaked havoc on Peru. Coup, corruption, protest topped with natural calamities has left the nation in a state of chaos. The crisis has been exacerbated by US involvement in the country. Now it seems US is paving its way to invade the country. Former President Pedro Castillo was ousted from the office on December 7, 2022. He was among the first presidents outside of Lima. He was seen by the political establishment and the economic elite in Lima as a political outsider who was unsuited to hold high office. Castillo wanted to nationalize Peru's mining sector and reform the constitution, which left Peru vulnerable to foreign intervention. In short, he went completely against US interests. Thus, he was thrown out in a US-backed coup. The role of US Embassy and Peru's oligarchs who control Congress in Castillo's removal has been highlighted by us earlier as well. After his removal, Congress voted to have Vice President Dina Boluarte to take over the presidency. Boluarte was previously Castillo's running mate in the 2021 election and held the post of Minister of Development and Social Inclusion. Castillo had faced 2 impeachment votes prior to the third one, in which he was removed. Amusingly, when Castillo faced first impeachment vote, Boluarte promised, "If the president is removed from office, I will leave with him." But politics is dirty and politicians are opportunists. In May 2022, Boluarte was facing a legal challenge over involvement in 2 Lima-based private clubs while she was a minister in the government. It could have resulted in her being barred from public office for 10 years. However, the same week she became president, congressional probe determined that Boluarte had not violated any law. The pressure tactic had worked on Boluarte, so she wasted no time in cozying up to the US ambassador as soon as she took power. Her frequent meetings with the ambassador Liza Kenna became the talk of the town. US has backed Boluarte strongly. It was the first one to recognize her. Recently, Dina Boluarte and the cabinet government had proposed a law that would permit the admission of armed military and naval units with weapons of war into the country. This happened amidst the widespread protests in the country. The letter stated to the Congress, "We are pleased to address you in accordance with the provisions of Article 107 of the Political Constitution of Peru in order to submit to the consideration of the Congress of the Republic with the approved vote of the Council of Ministers the draft resolution legislation that authorizes the entry of naval units and foreign military personnel with weapons of war into the territory of the Republic of Peru." Boluarte's coup government has orchestrated a smart ploy to allow foreign soldiers to enter Peru in the name of protests. Remember, Boluarte has already given military new powers to thwart the protests. This would give the US leeway to enter the country as it is behind the removal of Pedro Castillo. Not only will it use an iron hand to suppress the protesters, but also exploit Peru's wealth. US eyes the abundant mineral resources which Peru possesses. Peru is the second largest exporter of copper and a significant exporter of silver iron. Other than that, it is rich in high-yield ores, significant amounts of iron, lead, zinc, bismuth, phosphates and manganese, not to forget the oil deposits in northern part of the country. For all we can tell, Peru is all set to be the recipient of US's world-famous hospitality. The elite would never disappoint Uncle Sam.